Hello, my name is Jennifer Gray, and today I will be discussing the intricacies of teaching writing to primary school students. Writing skills is a necessary form of communication used in school, work, and in life in general. Writing can be used for many different purposes, such as to formulate ideas, express feelings, provide information, and to entertain. Research shows that writing practices have changed drastically in the past 20 years and is now often a multimodal process, meaning that texts are online and incorporate the use of words, images, and sound to create meaning. In order to effectively teach primary school students how to write fluently, teachers must have the necessary knowledge of the different principles and processes underpinning the acquisition of writing skills and have knowledge of how to adequately assess each student's capabilities. The 8 principles that effective teachers use to enhance students' literacy capabilities listed by Tompkins are: effective teachers understand how students learn. Effective teachers support student use of the cueing systems. Effective teachers create a community of learners. Effective teachers adopt a balanced approach to instruction. Effective teachers scaffold student reading, writing, viewing, speaking, and listening. Effective teachers organise for language, literature, and literacy instruction. Effective teachers link instruction and assessment, and effective teachers become partners with parents. Throughout this presentation, the importance of these principles will be addressed in more detail. When creating texts, students need to think about what it is they want to write. What is the purpose? This idea is validated by the United Kingdom Literacy Association, as they state that writing needs to be meaningful. The process of thinking about the topic of the writing, the intended audience, the purpose, and the type of text being created is called the pre-writing stage. Tompkins lists the 5 stages of the writing process as pre-writing, drafting, revising, editing, and publishing. Once students have chosen a topic for their writing and brainstormed ideas of what they want to do, they can start to write a rough draft. During the drafting stage, Read, Write, Think suggests that students should work independently with the teacher's scaffolding as needed. The next stage is to revise the writing. This requires the student to reread the rough draft, read the draft to other students and the teacher, and revise what could be changed. Following on from revision is the editing stage. As stated by Tompkins, students should follow the editor's mantra to delete, change, rearrange and add where necessary to allow for more coherent text. The writing process is not a linear process, and students can pre-write, draft, revise and edit as many times as they like until they are satisfied with their writing. Once satisfied, the student can move on to the final stage, publishing. Here they create a final copy of their writing and share it with an audience. Read, Write, Think discuss the merits of using the writing process in the classroom and state that the writing process allows students to break writing up into manageable chunks to produce quality texts. Another important aspect that should be considered when planning writing activities is students' fine motor skills. Hornery mentions that students that have difficulty with fine motor skills, such as holding a pencil and writing neatly, would benefit from the use of computers when creating texts. On the other hand, research by O'Brien found that students that use handwriting compared to keyboards produce more ideas, the writing is faster, more coherent, and of a better quality in relation to sentence structure, grammar, and punctuation. Teachers will need to plan varied daily writing activities to allow children to develop the necessary muscle control needed to become fluent writers. To maximise student learning, teachers are constantly assessing what students know, their strengths and weaknesses, interests, and how well the teaching methods have worked. Principle 7 mentioned earlier discusses the necessity of linking assessment and instruction and how teachers use assessment results to plan effective lessons. The New South Wales Department of Education and Training mentioned that teachers gather assessment information from a variety of sources, such as through the collection of work samples, observations, test results, self-monitoring sheets, and conferences with the student. Following the collection of evidence, the teacher analyses the results, plans further learning experiences, then monitors and records progress as they teach, and then reviews and replans accordingly. Further to the list of observation and assessment techniques listed by the New South Wales Department of Education and Training to assist teachers assess a student's writing, Tompkins suggests anecdotal notes, checklists, rating scales, rubrics, and pro formas. Students can also be included in the assessment process. Tompkins mentioned that when students create their own rubrics to assess their writing, it builds their metacognitive abilities and helps them to think about themselves as writers. The difficulty with assessing writing, according to Freiberg, is assessor subjectivity. She recommends assessment of writing be based on pre-specified criteria to minimise this. Another problem area mentioned by Tompkins is high-stakes testing and NAPLAN due to the pressure students feel which then decreases motivation and achievement. Teachers assess students in a variety of ways and provide further teaching activities based on the students' needs and interests with a view of maximising student knowledge. An effective teacher not only requires knowledge of the students and how they learn and knowledge about various teaching techniques, they also need to provide a classroom setting that students feel comfortable learning in. Wright describes what an effective classroom looks like when a successful writing program is in place. One of the first things he points out is the energy that both the students and teacher have as the students take on more responsibility for their learning to become expert writers. Principle 3 directly relates to Wright's observation, as it suggests that classrooms are social settings where students are encouraged to take responsibility for their learning, behaviour and contribution to the classroom community. When I become a teacher, I will endeavour to create a rich learning environment where students feel welcome to take risks and are motivated to learn. I will use the 8 principles listed by Tompkins to guide my teaching instruction in my pursuit to become an effective teacher. I will use various instructional activities to teach and scaffold students' knowledge, including modelled, shared, interactive, guided, and independent reading and writing, as well as the use of a word wall. In using these activities, I will be adhering to Principle 4 and 5, and as mentioned by Wright, effective teachers link reading and writing instruction so that students learn that to be an effective writer, you must also be a reader. Furthermore, the United Kingdom Learning Association mentions that students benefit from the teachers sharing their own writing experiences, and overall, teachers who write teach writing better. When teaching young students who are learning to read and write, I plan to incorporate the use of a morning message into my daily routine. A morning message, as described by Tompkins, is a brief message about the day's planned activities written by the teacher for the students before they arrive for class. The morning message can be used to enhance students' knowledge of letters, words, sentences, phonics patterns and punctuation marks. Another fun literacy activity that I can include to enhance the enjoyment in the classroom community while still providing a meaningful learning opportunity is the use of a literacy play centre. Tompkins describes a literacy play centre as an area where children can use props to read and write and imitate life. For example, a student might play doctor and write a prescription. I believe that it is necessary to provide students with interesting and enjoyable activities that are meaningful to their education. Writing skills are relied upon not only in literacy but in all content areas of the curriculum. Students need to learn how to write using the correct sentence structure, spelling and grammar so that the reader can understand the meaning. Teaching students how to become fluent writers will require a balanced approach to instruction, as well as knowledge relating to the other 7 principles and the 5 stages of the writing process. It is imperative that teachers get to know the students in their class and teach according to their needs. Different assessment methods can and will be used, as well as a range of different teaching methods which will include multimodal processes to enhance the writing abilities